Neville Goddard, IT works so fast it's scary. The most powerful audio for manifestation. The secret that changes everything. What if I told you that the reality you see right now is not solid? It's fluid, shifting, responding to you every second. What if I told you that your imagination, not your effort, not your struggle, not even your luck, is the true architect of your life? That everything you've ever desired is already finished, waiting for you to assume it as yours? This is not fantasy. This is Neville Goddard's truth, and it works so fast it's almost scary. Tonight, we begin a journey into the deepest level of your creative power, where thought becomes matter, imagination becomes destiny, and faith bends reality in your favor. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe slowly, because by the time you finish this session, your world will no longer look the same. The invisible creator. Neville Goddard taught one of the most radical truths in human history. Imagination creates reality, not influences it, not shapes it, creates it. Absolutely, precisely, completely. Every event, every opportunity, every relationship in your life has been arranged by your dominant inner state, the vibration of your thoughts and feelings. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the author of circumstance. The reason it feels like life is random is because we forget that our assumptions, the quiet beliefs we hold when no one's watching, are commands to the universe. When you believe you are abundant, abundance becomes your reflection. When you believe you are loved, love surrounds you effortlessly. When you believe you are lacking, the world echoes it faithfully. Your outer world is a mirror, and that mirror only knows how to agree. Neville said, "Change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live." That means no matter what's happening right now, your finances, relationships, or health, it's all a projection of what you've been assuming to be true. The good news? Assumptions can be rewritten instantly, and when you rewrite them with faith and persistence, the results appear with breathtaking speed. The law of assumption. Let's go deeper. The law of assumption says that when you live from the feeling of the wish fulfilled, as if your desire were already yours, reality rearranges itself to match that inner state. You don't need to attract anything. You simply need to embody it. If you want wealth, stop reaching and start being the wealthy one. If you want love, stop longing and start feeling loved now. If you want success, stop striving and start knowing that success is your natural condition. Neville said, "Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your attention follows." He wasn't talking about imagination as daydreaming, but imagination as creation. When you visualize something vividly, feeling its reality, your subconscious mind accepts it as truth. And the subconscious, the silent, powerful part of you, has no choice but to manifest it into physical form. That's why Neville called the subconscious the womb of creation. Whatever you plant there grows. So when you plant doubt, you reap delay. When you plant fear, you reap frustration. But when you plant faith, pure, unwavering belief, you reap miracles. The power of state. Everything depends on your state of being. It's not about forcing change. It's about occupying a new identity. The version of you who already has the desire fulfilled. The poor man struggles to get rich. The rich man simply lives richly. The unloved woman seeks affection. The loved woman walks in confidence. The one who has assumed already is. You can't reach abundance while vibrating lack. You can't attract love while living in loneliness. You must become what you wish to receive right now, in feeling, in awareness, in vibration. So take a moment. Imagine your wish fulfilled. See it in your mind's eye, not as something distant, but as something present. If it's money, imagine checking your account and seeing abundance flowing easily. If it's love, imagine that gentle hand holding yours, that warmth in your heart. If it's success, imagine standing in the moment of triumph, the applause, the gratitude, the peace, and then feel it real. Feel the relief, the joy, the certainty, because that feeling is creation itself. Neville said, "Feeling is the secret. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you feel to be true." The moment of shift. Now, something happens when you truly feel it. A quiet knowing arises, like the calm after a storm. It's the moment your imagination becomes more real to you than your senses. In that moment, you stop wishing and start knowing. You stop hoping and start commanding. You stop asking and start expecting. And that expectation, that subtle shift from desire to possession, is the bridge that brings the invisible into form. Reality begins to move. People, opportunities, coincidences all start aligning in impossible ways. Neville called this the bridge of incidents. It's how the universe rearranges itself to fulfill your assumption. And here's the best part, you don't have to figure out how it happens. The subconscious knows the shortest, most effortless path to your manifestation. Your only job is to remain faithful to the end scene, to the feeling of already having it. As Neville said, go to the end and live there. So tonight, as you listen to this, understand, you are not becoming powerful, you already are. You are not learning to manifest, you've been manifesting every moment of your life. Now, you're just doing it consciously. Every image you hold is a seed. Every word you speak is a command. Every feeling you nurture is a world forming around you. The question is, what are you creating right now? From this moment forward, speak only what you want to live. Assume only what brings you peace. And feel only the end result, because it's already done. The universe has already said yes. Now your only task is to believe. As Neville said, dare to believe in the reality of your assumption, and watch the world play its part to prove it true. This is your awakening. This is your power. And it begins now. Entering the state of the wish-fulfilled, reprogramming the subconscious mind. What if you could fall asleep tonight and wake up tomorrow in a completely different reality? What if, while your body rested, your imagination rebuilt your world, effortlessly, silently, perfectly? That's not just a dream. It's the core of Neville Goddard's teaching, because the greatest secret to manifestation is not found in your waking hours. It's found in the moments just before you fall asleep. Neville called it the state akin to sleep, a sacred doorway where your conscious mind quiets down, and your subconscious becomes wide open to receive new instructions. And whatever you impress upon the subconscious in that state becomes your reality. This is how you reprogram your world overnight. So tonight, we're going to learn exactly how to do that. The gateway to creation. The subconscious mind is the creative power of the universe individualized within you. It doesn't argue, it doesn't reason, it doesn't question. It simply accepts whatever it's given as truth and brings it to life. When you understand this, you stop trying to force things in the outer world and start impressing them upon your inner world instead. Because what's impressed within must be expressed without. Neville said, the world is yourself pushed out. That means every condition in your life is a mirror of your inner assumptions. But here's the key. During the day, your conscious mind is active, busy, full of resistance and logic. It filters your beliefs, doubts, and fears. At night, however, something magical happens. As you drift toward sleep, your conscious mind grows quiet, and the gate to your subconscious begins to open. That twilight zone between wakefulness and sleep, that's where creation begins. That's where the seed is planted. If you impress your subconscious with fear, it will faithfully create more fear. If you impress it with lack, it will manifest circumstances of lack. But if you impress it with the feeling of wish fulfilled, it will manifest abundance, joy, and miracles with divine precision. That's why Neville's nighttime method works so fast. It bypasses your logical resistance and speaks directly to your infinite creative power. How to enter the state? Let's walk through it step by step. When you lie in bed tonight, turn off all distractions. Let the world fade away. The noise, the worries, the doubts. You're not escaping reality, you're rewriting it. Close your eyes and feel your body relax, limb by limb. Breathe slowly and deeply. Each breath takes you deeper into peace, deeper into presence. Now, bring to mind the one desire that matters most right now. Could be wealth, love, success, health, or peace, anything. But choose one. Now here's the secret. Don't visualize it as something you want. Visualize it as something you already have. Neville said, "You must make your future dream a present fact by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So see it clearly. Imagine the scene that would naturally follow if your desire were already fulfilled. It might be your friends congratulating you, signing the contract, receiving the message, holding the key, embracing the one you love. Whatever it is, make it short, vivid, and joyful. Then feel it, not with effort but with ease. Let your emotions rise. Feel the gratitude, the relief, the excitement of already being there. You're not pretending, you're assuming. You're not forcing, you're allowing. Let the scene play gently in your mind over and over until it feels natural, until you forget for a moment that it's imagination. In that moment, you've done it. You've planted the seed. Why it works so fast. When you fall asleep in the assumption that your desire is fulfilled, your subconscious accepts it as reality. It doesn't know the difference between what's imagined and what's physically experienced. To the subconscious, feeling is fact. And because your subconscious controls every event, circumstance, and connection in your outer world, it immediately begins arranging the bridge of incidents that will bring your inner vision to life. This is why manifestations can appear so quickly. Neville said, "The assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. And sometimes that hardening happens overnight. The reason is simple. The subconscious is infinite intelligence. It knows every path, every person, every possibility that can fulfill your desire in perfect timing. When you surrender to it, when you let go of the how and rest in the feeling of it is done, you give it permission to do its work. And it always works. The language of the subconscious. Words alone don't move the subconscious, feeling does. That's why Neville emphasized emotion over repetition. It's not how many times you say an affirmation, it's how real it feels when you say it. So instead of cold repetition, let your affirmations carry warmth, belief, and life. When you whisper, "I am wealthy," feel the weight of that truth in your body. When you say, "I am loved," feel the tenderness and safety of that love. When you declare, "Everything is working out for me," sense the relief and confidence of that reality already unfolding. This is the language your subconscious understands. Not words, but vibration. Not effort, but emotion. That's why sleep manifestation works so beautifully. It's not about trying harder. It's about feeling deeper. And when that feeling becomes natural, your outer world must follow. Surrender and trust. As you sink deeper into that sleep-like state, release all attachment. Let go of the need to control, to analyze, to check results. You don't plant a seed and dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You plant it and you trust. Faith is the soil where miracles grow. And Neville said, "Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality." So tonight, stay loyal to your inner world. Let your imagination be more real to you than the facts your senses show. Because those facts are only the shadows of your past assumptions. They have no power over what comes next. As you drift off, whisper gently to yourself, "It is done. I am already there. My world is shifting now." And then, let sleep take you. Because when you sleep in the wish fulfilled, your subconscious works tirelessly to make it true. By morning, the energy has shifted. People behave differently. Opportunities appear. And you wake up aligned, magnetic, radiant. So tonight, before you fall asleep, remember this truth. You are not waiting for your manifestation. It's waiting for you to accept it, to feel it, to rest in it. The universe responds not to words, but to states of being. And your state before sleep is the most powerful moment of all. Fall asleep as the version of you who already has it. Wake up and walk in that assumption. Do this consistently, and you'll see just how fast it works. Neville said, "If you judge after appearances, you will continue to be enslaved by them. But if you persist in the assumption that your desire is fulfilled, you will change the world. That's your task. That's your gift. And it begins tonight." The science of belief, how faith bends reality in your favor. What if belief isn't just a mindset, but the creative force that shapes every event in your life. What if reality itself rearranges according to what you truly believe? Not what you say, not what you wish, but what you feel to be true in your heart. Neville Goddard said, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." That's not poetry. It's quantum law. Because belief is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Whatever you assume to be real, your world will bend to match it. Let's go deeper into how faith actually works, and how to use it consciously to manifest faster than ever before. The invisible blueprint of reality. You are not living in a fixed universe, you are living in a responsive one. Reality is not solid. It's fluid. It rearranges itself moment by moment to reflect your dominant state of consciousness. This is what Neville meant when he said, "Your assumptions, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact." Your assumption is your belief in motion, your private conviction about who you are and what's possible. And once that belief takes root in the subconscious, everything around you begins to adjust to confirm it. Think of belief as a script. Your subconscious is the actor, your world is the stage, and both are faithfully performing the lines you've written. So if you believe life is difficult, the universe delivers situations that match that belief. If you believe you are lucky, you attract synchronicities and miracles effortlessly. Here's the deeper truth. The outer world is not causing your inner state. Your inner state is projecting the outer world. When you grasp this, you stop fighting circumstances and start transforming consciousness. Because the moment your belief changes, the entire script of your life begins to rewrite itself. The vibration of faith. Belief is not an idea, it's a vibration. You can't fake it with words or thoughts alone. You have to feel it in your energy. Neville said, "Feeling is the secret." Faith is not repeating affirmations endlessly. Faith is knowing, a quiet, steady certainty that what you desire is already yours. It's the feeling of peace that says, "It's done." Even when your senses show nothing. You've probably noticed this before. When you really expect something to happen, it does. That's because your belief sends out a frequency that commands reality to align. This is why fear also manifests so quickly. When you dwell on fear, you're broadcasting the vibration of danger, and reality obeys. But when you live in the vibration of faith, everything begins to organize in your favor. Faith and fear are the same power, focused in opposite directions. Faith imagines the best and receives it. Fear imagines the worst and experiences it. So the real question is, which vibration are you loyal to? Loyalty to the unseen. Neville often said, "Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality." That means staying faithful to your inner vision even when the outer world shows the opposite. When you plant a seed in the soil, you don't panic just because you can't see it sprouting yet. You trust the process. You water it with consistency and belief, because you know it's growing beneath the surface. Manifestation works the same way. Once you've assumed your wish fulfilled, you must remain loyal to that assumption. Even when nothing seems to change, hold the faith. Even when things appear to fall apart, hold the faith. Because the unseen is already rearranging. The outer world is always the last to catch up. The delay is not denial, it's gestation. The invisible blueprint must first be completed before the physical world can mirror it perfectly. This is where most people give up. They start in faith but collapse into doubt when evidence doesn't show immediately. And the moment doubt takes over, the seed is uprooted. But if you can remain loyal to your unseen reality, even when your senses tempt you to quit, that's when the universe bends in your favor. That's when miracles begin to look like luck. When really, it's your faith crystallizing into fact. Reprogramming your belief system. Belief is a habit of thought, and habits can be changed. Every limiting belief you have, money is hard, love never lasts, I'm not good enough, began as a thought that was repeated and accepted as truth. But just as it was learned, it can be unlearned. Neville's method for changing beliefs is simple but profound. Identify the belief that's limiting you. Create a new assumption that aligns with your desired reality. Impress it upon the subconscious through feeling, especially before sleep. For example, if you've always believed, I struggle with money, your new assumption might be, money flows to me easily and abundantly. Then, rather than repeating it mechanically, feel what it would be like if that were already true. Feel the lightness, the relief, the gratitude of living in that reality. That feeling is what reprograms your subconscious, not the words themselves. Over time, as this feeling becomes natural, your outer world must adjust to confirm it. Because reality has no choice but to mirror your dominant vibration. It's not positive thinking, it's divine law. The science behind it, modern quantum physics, echoes Neville's words. Experiments have shown that particles behave differently depending on observation, meaning consciousness affects matter. In other words, the universe responds to your state of being. Your beliefs act like a frequency tuner. They select the version of reality that matches your vibration. When you shift your inner frequency, through faith, imagination, and emotion, you literally step into a new timeline where your desire already exists. This isn't magic, it's energetic alignment. And the speed at which your manifestation arrives depends on the purity of your belief. The less doubt, the faster the shift. That's why Neville's techniques work so fast it's scary. Because once your conscious and subconscious agree on a new reality, the universe responds instantly. Faith in action. Faith is not sitting back and doing nothing. Faith is moving in the world as if your desire were already done. It's thinking, speaking, and acting from the end. When you live from the end, you become magnetic. People sense your certainty. Opportunities align effortlessly. Doors open without struggle. Neville called this living in the end. He said, dare to believe in the reality of your assumption and watch the world play its part. So tomorrow, walk as though you are already the person who has it all. Speak from that version of you. Make decisions from that confidence. And soon, your outer world will have no choice but to match the energy you've become. Remember this truth. You don't get what you want, you get what you believe. Wanting keeps you in separation. Believing unites you with it. And the moment you believe, really believe, the universe bends to your command. Neville said, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. So tonight, believe the best. Hold faith in the unseen. And dare to assume it's already done. Because the moment you do, reality has no choice but to obey. The power of imagination, creating the unseen into reality. Close your eyes. Now imagine the life you truly desire. Not as a fantasy, but as something real, alive, breathing around you right now. You see, imagination isn't daydreaming. It's creation. Neville Goddard said, man is all imagination, and God is man and exists in us and we in him. Meaning, your imagination is divine power. It is not make-believe. It makes reality. Everything that exists in your life right now, your home, your relationships, your job, your circumstances, was once an image, a concept, a feeling in someone's imagination. Imagination is the womb of creation. And when you learn how to consciously use it, you no longer wait for life to happen, you design it. The creative power within. Neville taught that imagination is the only reality. He said, everything that you behold, though it appears without, it is within in your imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. That means what you experience out there is simply a projection of what you have imagined in here. The outer world is your imagination in slow motion. When you imagine vividly, with feeling, consistency, and belief, you are impressing new patterns onto your subconscious mind. And your subconscious, being infinite and obedient, externalizes those images into 3D reality. Most people think imagination is just for children or artists. But in truth, it's the steering wheel of your life. Your imagination decides what you'll experience next. If you can imagine lack, you can experience abundance. If you can imagine failure, you can imagine victory. Whatever image you choose, your subconscious builds the bridge to bring it to life. The secret of reverse creation. Here's the secret Neville revealed. Stop imagining what you want. Start imagining from the end, as if you already have it. There's a big difference between imagining of your desire and imagining from your desire. For example, imagining of wealth looks like this. I wish I were rich someday. But imagining from wealth feels like this. I am so grateful that money flows freely and easily to me. One keeps your desire distant. The other brings it into the now. Neville said, "Live as though your dream were already real, and it will become real. Because when you feel the end, when you occupy the state of already having, your subconscious accepts it as fact. And reality must rearrange to match your new assumption. That's how manifestation happens so fast it feels scary. It bypasses effort, strategy, and time because the mind already accepted the outcome. You've energetically moved into the version of yourself who already lives that reality. The state akin to sleep. One of Neville's most powerful techniques is the state akin to sleep, the twilight state between waking and dreaming. Why is this state so effective? Because your conscious mind, the part that doubts, analyzes, and questions, begins to fade. And your subconscious, the creative powerhouse, becomes receptive. As you drift to sleep, Neville advised to imagine the scene that would imply your wish is fulfilled. Not the process, not the how, only the end. For example, if your desire is a loving relationship, imagine yourself already there, feeling your partner's presence, hearing their laughter, seeing yourself happy together. Make it vivid. Feel it as real. Let the scene absorb you completely until it feels natural, until you fall asleep in that feeling. Neville promised that if you do this faithfully, your subconscious will reproduce that experience in the outer world. Because the subconscious doesn't distinguish between imagination and physical reality. It responds to feeling. And the moment your feeling matches your desire, creation begins. Imagination versus evidence. Many people lose faith because they can't see proof yet. But imagination always precedes evidence. You cannot wait to see it before you believe. You must believe before you see. Neville said, "To attempt to change circumstances before you change your imaginal activity is to struggle against the very nature of things. Everything you see right now is old news, the echo of past imagination. If you want to change the future, you must change what you imagine now. That means stop reacting to current appearances. Don't feed the illusion. Instead, use your imagination to plant a new seed. Because when you persist in a new inner scene, your outer world has no choice but to catch up. Faith means knowing that the invisible world is more real than what you see with your eyes. Because imagination is the blueprint, and matter simply follows it. The script of your life. You are both the author and the actor of your life. Imagination writes the script. Your subconscious directs the play. Your senses witness the performance. If you don't like the scene you're in, rewrite it. Close your eyes and imagine the version of your life that excites you, fulfills you, and makes you proud to be alive. Then feel it as though it's happening now. This isn't delusion, it's divine authorship. Because once your inner movie changes, the outer world adjusts its cast, props, and timing to match. That's why people often say, everything suddenly fell into place. No, it didn't suddenly happen. You imagined it differently long enough for the shift to occur. Every miracle you've ever experienced, every coincidence, was simply your imagination made visible. Exercise. Living in the end. Tonight, try this. Before you sleep, choose one desire. Something clear and specific. A goal, a relationship, a dream. Now imagine the moment after it's fulfilled. How would you feel? What would you say? Who would you tell? Don't see yourself getting it. See yourself already having it. Hear someone congratulating you. Feel the joy in your heart. Sense the relief, the gratitude, the excitement. Repeat this same short scene each night until it feels natural, until it feels done. That's how Neville manifested everything. His career, his marriage, his success, all through imagination. He lived in the end so completely that the end became his new beginning. The divine truth about you. You are not a powerless being begging the universe for favors. You are imagination itself, clothed in flesh. And everything you imagine with faith and persistence must manifest. You don't have to chase or force it. You don't have to beg or struggle. Just imagine lovingly and persist in the assumption that it's already yours. Neville said, "Be still and know that you are God." That means your creative power lies in quiet certainty, not frantic action. When you imagine and know, you are aligning with divine truth. And that truth says, you are the creator of your world. Your imagination is the brush. Your faith is the color. Your life the canvas. So, tonight as you lie in bed, don't replay your fears. Don't relive your worries. Instead, step into the scene of your fulfilled desire. Hear the words you long to hear. Feel the emotions of your dream come true. Fall asleep in that feeling because it's the language your subconscious understands best. Remember, imagination creates reality. And the faster you feel it real, the faster it becomes real. Neville said, "Dare to believe in the reality of your assumption and watch the world play its part. You are not imagining for nothing. You are imagining for everything. Because the world you seek already exists within you, and all you have to do is see it." Awakening the God within, becoming the master of your reality. What if the power you've been searching for was never outside you? What if every prayer you've whispered, every affirmation you've repeated, every dream you've chased, was simply your own divine self waiting for recognition? Neville Goddard said, "You are God imagining, not metaphorically, literally." That's why manifestation can happen so fast it's scary, because the moment you realize who you are, creation bends to your awareness. So tonight, we're not chasing manifestation, we're awakening the creator within. The secret that changes everything. All of Neville's teachings lead to this one ultimate truth. I am. These two words, I am, are the name of God and the key to creation. Whatever follows, I am, becomes the law of your being. Say, I am poor, and the subconscious builds poverty. Say, I am abundant, and life reorganizes itself to express abundance. Say, I am loved, and you become magnetic to love. The universe doesn't respond to your wishes, it responds to your identity. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. That's why Neville said, change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Your outer world is nothing but the mirror of your inner state. So if you want the mirror to change, you must change your reflection. Becoming the cause, not the effect. We've been trained to believe that life happens to us, that circumstances are fixed, people are unchangeable, and luck decides who wins. But Neville flipped that illusion upside down. He taught that you are the cause, and everything else is the effect. Your consciousness, your thoughts, your emotions, your assumptions are the creative center of your universe. The world doesn't respond to effort. It responds to identity. If you see yourself as limited, life confirms it. If you see yourself as divine, limitless, powerful, life has no choice but to mirror that truth back to you. Neville said, you rise as you identify yourself with a higher concept of yourself. That means you don't fight old conditions. You simply assume a new identity until it feels natural. You're not trying to change the outer picture, you're changing the consciousness that projects it. And when you do, the world must follow. The feeling of being God. So what does it mean to feel like God? It doesn't mean arrogance or superiority. It means peace. It means confidence. It means knowing deeply, quietly, that you are the source of your experience. Imagine walking through life knowing that every situation is a reflection of your inner world, and that you have the power to adjust it at will. That's freedom. That's mastery. When you feel yourself as the cause, not the victim, life becomes a canvas, not a cage. You begin to act, think, and respond differently. You stop reacting to problems and start commanding solutions. Neville said, be still and know that you are God. Be still because the creative act happens in silence. No, because faith replaces fear. You are God because creation is consciousness and consciousness is you. The bridge of incidents. Once you've assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the universe begins to build what Neville called the bridge of incidents. This bridge is a series of events, sometimes ordinary, sometimes miraculous, that move you from where you are to the fulfillment of your desire. You don't have to plan the bridge. You don't have to figure out how it will happen. Your only job is to stay faithful to the end. Don't analyze the steps, walk them with trust. The bridge might appear as a phone call, a new idea, a random encounter, a sudden inspiration. But behind every coincidence, the unseen hand of your assumption is guiding it. Neville said, "You do not need to help it happen. Your assumption contains its own plan." That's why manifestations often appear out of nowhere. They didn't come from nowhere. They came from you, from the invisible realm of your imagination into physical expression. The discipline of faith. Faith is not about hoping something might happen. Faith is the inner knowing that it already has. Neville defined faith as loyalty to the unseen reality. That means being loyal to your imagination, even when your senses contradict it. When the outer world shows delay, doubt, or difficulty, stay loyal to the invisible. Because the moment you waver, you reimagine the opposite. You don't need to force faith, you choose it. Faith is a decision, not a feeling. And every time you return to the end, every time you reaffirm it is done, you strengthen that decision. Soon it becomes natural. And when faith becomes your natural state, manifestation becomes effortless. Your divine identity. You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop. Everything you seek, love, wealth, success, joy, already exists within your consciousness. Neville said, "The world is yourself pushed out," meaning the people you meet, the events you experience, the opportunities that come, they are all extensions of your own inner assumptions. That's why changing yourself changes everything. The moment you realize your divinity, the outer world reflects that recognition. When you say, "I am," you are speaking the creative name of God, the eternal being that creates worlds through awareness. So begin declaring consciously, "I am love. I am abundance. I am health. I am guided. I am divine power in action." Because those declarations don't just describe you, they define you. They awaken the sleeping God within. The new earth of consciousness. When more people awaken to this truth, the entire world shifts. Because reality is not fixed, it's collective imagination. Neville often said, "There is no one to change but self." That doesn't mean ignore injustice or suffering. It means the solution begins with consciousness. When you imagine a better world, a healed planet, a united humanity, you are contributing to the awakening of collective consciousness. You're helping rewrite the dream we all share. That's why your imagination matters. That's why your faith is sacred. Every time you choose love over fear, vision over doubt, creation over reaction, you raise the vibration of the entire world. You become a living embodiment of God in motion. The final command, IT is done. So now it's time to seal your creation. No more wishing, no more waiting, no more wondering. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Feel the power that lives within you, quiet, steady, infinite. Now declare with full conviction, "I am the creator of my reality. I assume only what I wish to experience. My imagination is divine and powerful. What I feel real now becomes real. I command my desires into existence with love and certainty. It is done." Feel those words, not as affirmations but as truth. Because truth doesn't need proof. Creates it. Neville once said, "There is no fiction. All imagination is fact." That means the world you hold in your mind, the one filled with peace, wealth, joy, and love, is not a dream. It's a preview, and you are the projector. As you awaken to your divine identity, miracles become natural. Synchronicities multiply, opportunities chase you, and manifestation no longer feels like magic. It feels like memory. Because deep down, you're not attracting anything. You're simply remembering who you are. You are imagination made flesh. You are God asleep, now awakening. You are the voice that says, "Let there be light," and light obeys. So tonight, walk in that awareness. Speak with authority. live from the end. And no, it works so fast, because it's you who's working. The universe doesn't delay, it mirrors. And the moment you believe, the reflection appears. So go ahead, assume your power, declare your truth, and whisper it one last time. I am, and it is done.